everybody. Listen up, as you probably know now from reading on the website, a newsletter rather, as I had to take a bit of a break from the trip because I had to bring my brother home. Things just got too bad in terms of his demeanor. He couldn't really ride the bikes, didn't really want to ride the bike, and it was just not going to be sustainable like I had thought. So 3 days ago or so, we left. At that point, we were in Ohio, and we came straight home. Basically, almost 13, 14 hours straight, nearly. And I was really upset because I spent a lot of money and time on this project, and a lot of the extra money that went into this trip was because I had to start planning for 2 people, not 1. So 2 sleeping bags, 2 bikes, 2 racks, 2 sets of panniers, all sorts of things like that. I added things for the car because we knew I would be car/bike camping. So things like the portable refrigerator, the slide for that, portable battery, things like that. At least I would say $2,500, maybe $3,000, somewhere in that range, I think was spent extra on the trip for his side of it. Maybe a little bit less. I mean, his bike was like $650. At least another $200 or $300 of stuff that went on his bike. Certainly things that I wouldn't have bought. I mean, the portable fridge was $500. The slides was $200. His sleeping bag was $100. So between his sleeping bag, liners, pillows, stuff like that, probably we're talking about another $200. So, I mean, maybe more like $2,000. Then add on at least another $1,000, I would say, and spent money in terms of starting the trip, hotel, gas, and what have you, only to have to come back. Not even counting the additional lost income. If I had known I was going to be going on my own, I probably wouldn't have left until maybe like now. So that would have given me at least 3 or 4 more paychecks at the company I used to work for. All in all, I think I would have 5 figures in my account rather than 4 if I had been able to plan for just me. So, what are we doing now? I have talked a friend into / bribed a friend into looking after him or checking in on my brother while I'm on the bicycle tour. It was the least attractive thing I wanted to do in terms of the options, but it was always the easiest thing. It's kind of like the easiest thing was to get a friend to check in on him, take him to the mall, things like that while I was gone. It was the least attractive option in the beginning because the better options would have been obviously for him to stay with an actual family member or come with me. Neither of those options were viable. I refused not to do this trip. So here we are. I am now on in Central Florida I-4, headed toward Washington, D.C., headed toward the swamp, where my bike tour across the Great American Rail Trail will truly officially begin. If this had happened a couple weeks ago, or if I was just starting off now, I would feel a lot more excited. I do have some concerns about finances, so I'm really going to have to knuckle down when I'm on the tour in terms of where I stay. I make up for that, and then when I get back, I gotta tell you, it's going to be Hustle City. Hustle Nation will be in effect for me to begin replenishing the bank account and moving into the next phase of what I need to do income and career-wise. I have some ideas and things that I may be talking about as the trip goes on, but that's going to be critical. So, I'm looking forward to, I've got a 12 hour drive ahead of me. That means a lot of music. I can sing out loud now. I can record some podcasts. I can listen to some audiobooks. I can do a whole bunch of stuff in my car now that I couldn't do with David because he would have looked at me like I was crazy, which is probably true. And then make better content, hopefully, for you. Now, a couple things with regard, I hope my screen isn't getting dark on you here. It's kind of hard to tell in my car, but hopefully I can make it up in post. All right, so anyway, a couple of things. Obviously, being on bike, I can't bring nearly as many things. You'll see the setup later on, but the bike is essentially going to be 2 panniers in the rear, 2 panniers up front, and something on top of the panniers in terms of the bike rack, and then a handlebar bag. Everything has to fit into that. And that's a problem because there's some things that I want to bring that I cannot because of lack of space. My media situation is not nearly what I thought I was going to do. I've decided to leave my regular A6300 camera and lenses home rather than bring them. As substitutes, I'm going to use this iPhone and another iPhone that I have as a secondary video camera type option. I've got my GoPro, obviously. I did bring my regular video camera as well as a high quality audio recording device. It is speculative at this point whether or not they will actually make it into my bags once I get to my destination to begin the bike tour. I brought them just in case, but I haven't really decided whether or not I can bring them in terms of weight and space. It'll kind of depend. I did that with a few different things. I know that, for example, I'm going to probably stay in at least one hotel or someplace overnight before I reach my final destination, particularly since I'm leaving so late in the day. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I brought my laptop because that means I'll be able to write at least 1 or 2 more articles tonight to get up onto the newsletter. And then I'll just leave that with my car. I've got a bunch of other stuff that I brought that I'm going to have to figure out what to put in. I just got tired of trying to pack, to be honest with you. And so there's some things that obviously I would have packed in if I had just went through it that are in other bags, and some things that I might take out and leave with the car. It's going to be an interesting setup, and of course, I've never ridden the bike fully loaded, so that will be interesting as well. The rail trail starts at the National Mall. Now, that might be a problem because that area may still be closed down because Nancy Pelosi is a bitch. But we'll have to see. Hopefully it's not, and I can officially start there. I think it would be appropriate, honestly, for me to be able to start the I Love America tour with video pictures and everything of me on the bike going through our nation's capital. If that can't be done because it's closed, gated up, whatever, then what I'll probably do is start someplace closer to Maryland. I think there's a portion of the trail that's about 30 minutes from a friend's of mine in Maryland that I intend to see. I'm looking forward to seeing her husband and her son. And so what I'll do is start the tour from there, if the area in DC is closed off. Again, on my map from rail, my app rather, for Trails app, it does say closed. I'm not sure if that's accurate or if that's how far that close entails in terms of the path, if it is in fact closed. I'll have to see as we get closer on that. Might even talk to my friend to find out definitively. And that is where we are at. Looking forward to seeing the country. Looking forward to meeting some good Americans, meeting different people, meeting people on the trail, being able to take detours or make stops, things I couldn't do as easily as I detailed in one of the newsletter posts when I was in the car. It's just, when you're on a 2-lane highway with no shoulder and no ability to make a U-turn, it's just not easy or feasible, or easily feasible, I should say, to stop, to turn and speak to somebody, stop at something that you found interesting, because by the time you think about it, you're way past it. So I'm looking forward to being able to do some things on the bike that I wasn't able to do in the car. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Remember, most of the content that will be presented for the I Love America Tour will be on the wheels2adventure.com newsletter. It's free to subscribe. Most of my content, commentary, interviews, and things of that nature that I end up doing will be presented on the newsletter. So please go there, support the newsletter, and of course leave any comments or questions that you may have.